Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. We're a YouTube channel on the web at, you got it, smartwatchticks.com. Easy to find. Do you remember this watch that we reviewed a while ago? The Vibe 3 Pro from ZEBLAZE that came in a box that looked like it was a VHS tape? Well, look, I've got volume 2. Oh, yeah. ECG monitor and activity watch. It's exactly the same Vibe 3 line, but completely different concept. No, they're not different ones, an improvement on the other. It's like different children in the family, you know? He's a rascal and she's more of a rascal. You just got to live with him. You got to love him. And they are both really, really different. So check out the video on the Vibe 3 Pro to see what it can do. And stick here because we're about to take a look at the Vibe 3 ECG, available right now from two different sources. This one comes straight from ZEBLAZE, because it's not even really out yet. Through AliExpress on their store, you can pick it up. Check the show notes for the link right over here. Please use our link to get in there, because then they'll be able to tell that you bought it from watching our video, and maybe we can even get a coupon discount for you, although that's a really good price, $45. It is also on pre-order right now at Banggood. And Banggood is going to be one of our selected sponsors for this one as well. And check again the show notes for a discount when we've got this thing going. Oftentimes when they get them in, they give you a really good low price to get them out the door, the first set. So now's a good time to be studying this watch if you're interested in it. Got a couple of places to look. So what's it got inside of it? Well, let's take a look. It's basically a fitness watch. It's got, of course, ECG in it and a really cool implementation of that. I haven't seen this before. It looks like it's got 4 buttons on it, but it really only has 2. The other 2 are electrodes. Has all these different languages. It's fully IP67 waterproof. That's not true of a lot of the ECG+PPG type bands and watches. They're susceptible to water intrusion. So really nice to see that we have a fully waterproof watch format ECG device, and boy does it ever. It tethers to the WearHeart app, which we've seen many times on many devices, and that's a really good one. I'm going to show you a live ECG chart in just a minute, if I survive, because I'm so excited. Ho-ho! Anyway, all these good things going on here. We'll show you some of that in a minute. It uses the standard ECG chip that's in a lot of the other ones that's been shown to be really good in accumulating this 3-lead ECG data to send it out to a chart, and then that chart you can send off to your doctor or archive it for your own use or whatever. Okay, that's the specs. This is the box, and we are going to open it right now. ECG monitor and activity watch, they call it. It's a nice, large, rugged, already on. I thought I turned that off. You can tell I've already been in it and played with it. I backed it back up as best I could, including the pretty little blue wrapper they put around the buckle part. You got a TPU band, nice and flexible. Looks removable. I haven't tried that, but it should be. I don't think there's any radios in here. Lots of holes close together, should fit easily on any arm and be able to adjust exactly right, which you need when you're going to be doing the ECG stuff. Now look at this. The back comes with this little cover on it. Ironically, I was able to get a full ECG, EKG, they're interchangeable. German is EKG. Electrocardiograph is English. I was able to do that without even taking this thing off, but I wanted to wait and show you that you want to peel that off, and that gives you this whole backing. Wow, it looks like there's even a cover over the diode here. Yep, there is, for the heart rate. PPG is here, ECG, 1 electrode is here, and guess what? That button and that button constitute the other 2. You need 3. One of them has to be on one arm, and one of them has to be on the, or 2 of them have to be on the other arm. It can be 2 on the back and 1 on the front, like you see on most of them, or it can be this configuration, which is totally different. Okay, we got 2 buttons. We've got a power button up here, and we've got a what they call a switch button here, which switches us through the stuff that this thing does, which we will see after I take a breath and open things up, see what else we've got in here. Inside, is the charging wire, which is your standard 2-pin magnetic coupled connector. What do you think? This side, the other way? Yay, I got it right this time. Not really strong enough to hold the watch. That's one of my tests, but it's a really heavy watch. This sucker's bulky. It's a big watch. It's pretty much for a guy. USB connect charging. Simple. And then a user manual on the Vibe 3 ECG. And this is the English one. Oh, okay, it's a little one. Just a couple of pages. How about right there? Is that good? It shows you the buttonology. Is that a word? Power, switch, and the 2 ECG points. And it shows you the Android and iOS app that you can download off Google Play. It's Wear Heart. There's actually 5 or 6 others that work exactly the same way as Wear Heart by different names. I'll include them in the show notes. They just have different user interface look and feel. And if you prefer one of those over the other, it'll work just fine because the function is exactly the same. Didn't know that, did you? How you bind it, how you start the use, how you charge it, and the ECG test and how you do that. You can actually test it on the watch itself. Now, you won't see the chart on the watch. You'll see a little simulated icon when you take the test, but the actual waveform is being remembered in the watch, just one of them now, and if you transfer that, sync it to your phone, it'll transfer that one over. But if you are out for the day and you take 3 or 4 ECGs, you're only going to have the latest one. Just remember that, okay? That's true of all of them as well. They don't have enough memory and they haven't figured out how to store date and time, several of them. So you got one good shot when you're out with just the watch, but if you're out with the app, and let's take a look at that. This is the Wear Heart app. It's already up. It's already tethered to the band. We've covered this many times. Also in the show notes, I'll have links to other videos with the exact place where we start talking about this app. So if you want to learn more about the app than you're going to see here, watch any of those or all of them, and you'll get different perspectives on how this app works. I'm going to pop this puppy on so that we can actually get some readings, because this is where it gets fun. I'm a lefty, so it's on my left arm. Now, I haven't even gone through the stuff in here because I want to show you this. Some of you don't watch the whole thing through. I want to make sure you see this. I'm in the sport mode. This is last night's sleep time, and PPG, that's the little diode in the back, heart rate. This is your pulse, as most watches give you from just that little heart rate diode. That's easy to do, and this one does it as well. But it also can combine that with ECG. And when you get the ECG heart rate, it's derived in a different way, which we'll talk about when I hit measurement. When you go in here, you can see your past results. You also get your heart rate variability, which is the difference in the distance between the pulses computed with magic in an algorithm that'll show you generally how well you're doing health-wise. So I'm going to hit the measurement button. You want to make sure you're a little moist underneath where the big electrode is touching, which I am. You got to get a little moisture on your 2 fingers you're going to use on these buttons over here. So there, I licked it a little bit. I'm going to confirm that. I'm going to hit start, and I'm going to touch these buttons. Now the watch is actually beeping. And can you see the chart? The top one is ECG and the bottom one is the diode, the PPG. It's doing both of those. How do I know it's real? Watch. I'm going to wiggle it a little bit. I'm going to mess with it. I'm going to take my finger off. I'm going to put it back on. I'm going to mess this thing up really bad, so badly that I'm going to end the measurement and start it all over again. So I can give you a really good chart. Now, while we're doing this, and I'm talking, we're hoping I can stay still and explain to you that when you look at the top chart, and you get those peaks coming. Come on, there they are. You see the really sharp peaks? And you see the bottom one is more like a roller coaster. It's got wavy peaks. I'm not getting a really, really good chart, but some of the other videos show you that. The time delay between the peaks on the top and the ones at the bottom, called pulse wave transit time, can be used to compute all sorts of stuff. Now, this is the measurement coming from this. It says my heart rate is 99. I totally believe that after 2 coffees and a Diet Coke. Oh man, I got to get a better diet. Here is a whole breakdown of all of this stuff. I can look at the detailed report, or I can just confirm that, and I can look at it later. Now, I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to go into the ECG area, and there is the wave we just took. I go in here, and it loads it up, and there is my entire ECG chart. I guess it's still downloading it from the watch. I can use that chart. I could send it to my doctor. I could do all kinds of things. That's going to be in Health Report. There, it's generating the PDF of that entire session right there. You've seen this before. If you haven't seen this before, then watch the other videos because it'll be in there as well. It's got your basic information, which I always change to make it fictitious so you don't really know how big I am. All you know is I'm a guy, I guess. Here's the detailed report of my situation right now. I am overall 72 with a fatigue index, physical and mental load, my physical fitness and cardiac function. It explains all of that in here. And this is one of those snapshots of where you are right now based on the data it just collected. This is universal, folks. This app and the similar ones to it are what's used for all of these different EKG style of watches. Also in the show notes down below, I'll have a link to the playlist, or you can go to smartwatchtics.com, hit the playlist button, and look for something that says more EKG plus PPG watches and bands. And in there, I've got, I don't know, a dozen of all the different kinds that we've reviewed. So if you like the concept, but you want a different style, you can look in there and pick out a band or a different watch or whatever. They're all there. But folks, this is ZEBLAZE. This is ZEBLAZE. This is one of the bigger companies that puts out some major products. It's not just going to make 100 of them and disappear. It's going to, they're here for a long time. They still have the original Vibe 2, Vibe 3, Vibe 3 HR, blah, blah, blah. So we're looking at a really nice transition into some new technology from ZEBLAZE. Finally, let's look at the watch itself. When I hit the side button over here, it'll illuminate the screen. It doesn't stay on long, but you can see all the kind of things on the screen, including step count, heart rate, and calories burned. Yeah, that's not distance, that's heart rate down there. So you got your core stuff in this particular watch face. Step again, you get your steps. And calories and distance associated with all of that. I just opened it up so we don't have much. Here's the 99 that we got before in the app, if you recall, on the PPG, the ECG? Yeah, the ECG heart rate is showing here. Now it's doing the PPG heart rate over, and it started up at that point, which will show up back over here on Sport when it gets transferred over. There you go. Last night's sleep time would be here, and it also should show up in the watch. Oh, I'll keep pressing that one, but that's on and off, and this is how you cycle through. There's our heart rate. Here's the place where I can do an ECG plus PPG chart right in the watch without having to activate it from the phone. That's same thing, but I said you'll just see an icon on the screen. There's last night's sleep time. Any messages tethered and pushed from your phone. If I go into Sport and hit here, you can see I've got running and walking, and all of these are with step and heart rate, climbing. Now we get into cycling, and it replaces steps with calories burned for all these other sports until you loop around and you're back to running again. And I press it, and it'll start. And it'll track your steps from that point against time with your heart rate on there as well. I believe if I press and hold, I can come out of this. One of these. Come on. Maybe I have to be in stop mode and then press. There we go. Okay. Then there's a timer that you can just time. Find your phone when you're tethered, and of course turn the watch off. And you're back to the watch faces again. Now let's finish with the ECG reading itself. When you scroll through and you come up to ECG plus PPG, press the power button once and it'll start entering the data acquisition phase. Of course, it's going to fail unless you have it on your arm or touching someplace on your body. I'm going to use this part of my fleshy part of my hand here for this little test. I'm going to start it over again. Come over to here. Press the button, touch my hand, and touch the two electrodes. The two electrodes are opposite, and you just simply lightly squeeze them. And once you've got a good body connection, it's going to produce an EKG chart for you. There we go. Now we're getting a nice, stable, easy to interpret chart. It's looping, as you can tell. It's live, as you could tell, because when I moved and before I touched it, it would change. The other way to do it, and the way most folks do, is, of course, you just have it on your wrist. One more time. Going to cycle through, past the blood or the heart rate, and over to the ECG. Tap the start button. You get a couple of moments to get yourself going before it fails. If you're properly connected, it's going to go through and do the EKG chart for you. Now, you saw the last time it said 2-app. Just a reminder, this one is overriding that previous one. And when it says 2-app, I have to actually transfer it to the app, or I'm going to lose it if I do it again. So make sure you sync the tests that you do on the watch one by one to your phone. Don't do 2 or 3 of them in a row when you're out. Okay? So one more thing, I think. Yep, one more thing. It's just been bugging the shucks out of me throughout this video that it's got all these little blemishes on the screen, and I think you guys are going to think that there's something wrong with the watch. And, well, there is and there isn't. It's got this covering on it. It's not really a screen protector. Look how thin that is. I'm going to take that off because I want you to see it really should look like this. Beautiful. Glass, smooth. It's a really nice watch. Well, there you have it. That's it. The VHS-packed Vibe 3 ECG from ZEBLAZE. Really nice. You can pick it up a couple of places from the ZEBLAZE official store on AliExpress. Check the show notes down below. Buying link will take you right over here. And it tracks that you're buying it having watched this video, which is good news for getting more watches out here for us to take a look at. You could also pick it up from Banggood. They're supporting us as well. And we've got a coupon discount for you from directly from Banggood. So, yeah, check the show notes. Pick it on up. Test out that ECG. One of the first ones we've seen that's a full waterproof watch that has all this electrode stuff going on it. And they did it because they managed to create 2 electrodes in opposing button-looking things right on the face of the watch. Really nice design. All right, we'll see you again soon, and thanks for subscribing, and thumbs up, and keeping these watches lit up.